We have some of the biggest mining pool owners and like operators like down here, and then we were like joking that like basically on the stage, and we have a more than 51% hashing rate already, and so what's gonna happen? And I don't know. So what about we just do like a quick self introduction from Chris from Poolin.
Hello, my name is Chris from Poolin.com.
I'm Wang Chun from Afterpool.
Hi, it's Jen Cook here from BC.com, and I'm the Chief Operation Director of BC.com and responsible for the operation and marketing staff all over the world. Thank you.
Yeah, so I'm Dovey, so I'm founding partner of Primitive Ventures, and we are a global crypto asset holding company. We have offices in San Francisco, Boston, Singapore, and Shanghai. And so I'm a pretty big like Bitcoiner, and so if you follow me on Twitter. And so like today we are going to talk about the genesis of like Bitcoin mining and especially like mining pool, and then so how's the current status and like condition of like the mining pool operation. And so I think like a lot of the audience you might have heard about like Chinese government like bans Bitcoin mining, and so like they have like require like miner like cannot operate like in like mainland China, and like the Chinese miner has been moving out of China, things like that. And so I think like these sort of guys are on the ground, so like they understand what's the reality out there. And so probably like this is gonna be the question for like Chris and Chun, and because like Chris like used to be the co-founder for like BTC.com, and then so like right now Poolin basically rise up to the top like Bitcoin mining pool in about only like less than about 2 years, right? And then so like F2 pool is actually the oldest mining pool out there, and then so just celebrated its 6th like anniversary, right?
Yes, right?
And then so like these two people are probably the OG of the OG of all the miners out there. So like, can you just tell us a little bit more on like, is it like a real thing out there that the mining can probably be banned like in like mainland China, and it's just FUD? Like Chun, you want to start?
Oh, you mean the mining ban, right? So yeah, actually I haven't been there for some time, so I think there are little effects in what's going on in China's mining space. When was the mining ban happen? I think it's a few months ago, right? So I feel that few people still talking about that, still feel anything about that.
So like Chris, like do you want to add something?
Yeah, the bans real. Every year have such bans, in China, and the ban is severe. Regulations are severe, so I think maybe half of the mining farms, you cannot say illegal. Maybe we can say unconventional. Yeah, in China. So miners in China, they need to find ways. Yeah.
Yeah, so as far as we know, like the ban itself doesn't impact a lot of all the miners on the ground, but like it can make things like difficult. But like please bear in mind that like just like the Chinese government and like China itself is a huge country. Like whenever like there's like any policy just like trying to push out by the central government, and the actual execution is by like tier 3 or 4 like just like cities or like small counties. And so the actual execution like gonna be completely different because like the local governments will have their own like interest agenda. And yeah, so like the other question is, and like recently we have like known about like there's like information registration requirement like of all the like just like these like node operators. And so like a very, very natural question is, like to what extent do you think the Chinese government, or just like the government sovereign, like any sovereign state in general, so can actually censor the information propagating on the block? Like Jen, like do you want to start?
Well, personally, I don't think it's that easy for the government to do things to censor the propagate. I don't think it is that easy. So you don't need to worry about. And about the registration, to me, I think it's normal. It's just like you set up a company and you should submit some information to the government, and there's the regulation and the policy. Yeah. So that's it.
Yeah. So Chris, do you want to add on to that? Because I know all the block information actually go through all the big mining pools, right? And then so mining pool is basically a hub of the information that so it's becoming the the block information gateway, right? And then so what if any government and then wants to want you guys to actually submit whatever information so that you guys can see on the so just on the either the networking layer or the block propagation layer.
Yeah, I think block information censorship sounds dangerous in China, but actually anonymous communication is a good thing. Everybody knows anonymous communication. China is the biggest market, right? So every people knows how to get off the wall. Yeah. So I don't think this is a problem.
Got it. Yeah. So Chun, do you want to say something about this?
I think mining pool today is quite decentralized. It's mining pool. You can't say this mining pool is based in a very rich country. I think all the major mining pools have servers and have staff and employees all over the world. So I don't think that's an issue.
Yeah. And then so I think a lot of Western people are very, very concerned about this network partition. So there's a tiny chance that the internet of China or the internet of Asia or whatever internet in an isolated sovereign state might be might be isolated from the outside world, right? And then so because I know all of us and all the mining pool operator has been dedicated in trying to distribute it all the phone nodes all across the globe. And then so can you probably tell us a little bit more on how you guys basically just focus on making the mining pool very, very reliable, and even if there's some tiny chance of network partition.
Sorry, Doc.
Chun, you want to start?
Yeah, once again, I think this. I'm not worried about that. Today we have so many different channels to have information flow around across the border. We have satellite internet. I believe there must be. Bitcoin is a P2P network. There are so many different ways you can make the information, block information, and also transaction information to go through the borders. And it's we have VPN, but in case of the total block of the internet, we still have things like satellite, we can even have direct, in some area near Hong Kong and Shenzhen, you can receive a mobile signal from Hong Kong and Shenzhen at the same time, same place. You just simply set up two SIM cards in the same mobile phone, you can receive this,
Yeah. So Jang, and so because we know that BTC.com started as a blog explorer, right? And then has been accessible by all the international clients. And then so what is the current plan for BTC.com as a mining pool? And then so can maintain this global accessibility and basically try to avoid any potential problem from network partition?
Well, for now we have already set different nodes all over the world. So yeah, technically we can handle this problem. But if if there's something wrong about the government or the political problems, or I think we're gonna do our best to cooperate with the Chinese government. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think so the other big topic about mining pool is the dilemma of centralization and then also decentralization. Because like decentralization is actually not in the best interest of like this like pool operator and like owners. And so I know Chun might have like different opinion, but like mining pool is a for-profit entity, so it is not like protocol layer like development, right? And so like what do you see the future of like the potential decentralization of like mining pool? And like we know that Matt proposed like battle hash, and battle hash like basically can facilitate and enable like all the solo miners and then basically help them to gain over the control. And do you think you have planned to actually like join the alliance or like just like how to promote battle hash and then so or like any other plan you have like to decentralize decentralize yourself?
I think mining has been already decentralized compared to a few years ago. When I started mining, mining pools, like there are few choices. Like DeepBit, once they took like more than 40%. Some people even argue that at one time they were more than 51%. But from my observation, I feel DeepBit back in 2012 they took up to maybe 45% of the network hash rate. And there were like only other choice like Slash and a few others. And today, if you look at the mining space, mining pools, there are more than any time ever. And if you look at other currencies, altcoins, there are more. So yeah, we also carefully watch what's going on for like new protocols like Better Hash, because we think that since the Stratum protocol, which introduced like 2012, it has been quite some time, especially in the blockchain space. That's like kind of an ancient protocol. We do need some newer protocols for the future of the Bitcoin mining.
Yeah. So like Chris, like, do you want to say something? Because I know like Poolin has been working together with Matt on like better hash, on like basically making better hash, better, and then fixing bugs, etc. And so what is like Poolin's position in making mining pool more like decentralized, or is it possible?
Yeah, we will keep doing that. Before when we found BTC.com, Kevin Pan, the director of BTC.com, he open sourced BTC.com mining pool source code. Yeah, so this source code become the most mainstream mining pool code all over the world. Now we're going to keep 贡献怎么讲？
Contributing.
Yeah, contributing codes to the open source code, and we have some new ways to decentralize mining pool. Like we are making friends, we will help many friends to build more new mining pool all over the world. Yeah. In my opinion, maybe 20 mining pool is too many. Yeah, but if less than 10 pools, I think that's not enough. Yeah, so I think maybe there will be better if in the world maybe 15 mining pools is good. Yeah.
Yeah, and then just like talking about like what makes a mining pool like the most competitive one, and So what do you consider are the most important factors and for any mining pool like to succeed in the industry? And so like we can think about security, like we can think about the cost, and then like we can think about reliability, and what is the most important factors that you consider can make a mining pool succeed?
For now, I think he's making friends. Yeah. You know, in China, big miners often have meetup.
Yep.
Yeah. But I believe in the future, maybe it's security. Yeah.
So like security, and like Chun, like do you have any like opinion on that?
Miners care about their return of investment. They are under pressure pay their electricity, and I think fee is the most important factor.
Got it. Basically, the cheaper the better.
On top of the fee, if the different mining pool could offer the similar fees, I think miners probably will see like who you are and your history of operation, things like this. So at least you won't walk away and just disappear, right?
Yeah. So basically, there's a trust, right? Yeah, because as we all know that, like mining pool is relatively like a black box for like all the miners out there. So like that's why miners like usually like trust like someone that so miners usually like trust someone that so they actually know in person like much better. So because like there's a lot of things that mining pool can do, say for instance like stealing your hash rate, things like that, and then just have some really bad payout. So like trust is like definitely one of the most important factor like to make any mining pool succeed.
Right. So for the same reason, that's why major mining pools won't ever do, even they can, won't ever do any attacks to the network, because that's render very bad image if you do that ever.
Yep. Like Jane, like do you want to add something? Like basically, what's the most important factor that you consider like make BTC.com so successful?
This kind of questions I talked about a lot in my presentation. I think the first and the most important thing is the secure. The customers are here, and you should keep it safe. And then, as the two gentlemen says, it's about the price, the profit. And BTC.com always wants to share more with our customers.
Yep.
And then I think it's service. Service is important because BTC.com, our customers come from different countries, and the jet gap is the different time zones. So we have to keep our customer service staff always available, always there.
Yep.
And by the way, talking about the bed hash, right? We just mentioned. In my opinion, I don't think the decentralization and the pool, they are closely connected. The key factor is that miners should have more initiative during the mining process. That's what Beta Hash wants to solve the problem. They want to create a better protocol there. So just like the miners can choose the share they want, the miners can set up the block by themselves. So yeah, that's kind of thing. And I think that will solve the centralization stuff. Yeah, and based on this, if Beta Hash will be put into practice, and the most important thing for each pool is the technology and the service.
Yep. And then, so probably like one last question is also a little bit controversial one is, so there's always this like FUD around like big mining pool and basically conspire together and then 51% attack. And it might not be Bitcoin, it might be some smaller like POW coin like let's say for instance like Zcash or just like BCH or like whatever. And I know that like we have like more than 51% like hash rate on the stage. And then so can you help us to understand that what is the rationale that like the mining pool like actually are not going to conspire and then like 51% attack like any like even smaller Powercoin out there? Yeah, Chris, you want to start?
As I know, attacking a big blockchain is not realistic.
Yep.
Is unrealistic.
Okay.
Because you cannot attack a blockchain with the most mainstream hash rate of the same mining algo.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like Bitcoin.
Yeah, like Bitcoin, like Ethereum.
Yeah. So like, what about smaller coins? So like, my question is more around like smaller like POW based coin out there.
For big mining pools, that's not profitable enough.
Okay, so like that's basically
Yeah.
like it is not economic for like any of these like mining pool to actually attack like smaller POW coin. Okay.
Yeah.
Like what about like Chun, you wanna say something?
That's why Bitcoin Cash is not Bitcoin, because it's never secure. And also for a long time, between like 2014 and as late as 2017, we had I must say 99% of hash rate of Namecoin and other merge mining coins, but we just keep them secure. We even donate like 20,000 Namecoins to their community for their development. I must say that Namecoin is only the first altcoin after Bitcoin. I feel a little bit sad it's not taken any major, so that's I mean, we are willing to secure the network, not to attack. So yeah.
Yeah, like Jane, like do you wanna say something? Like
But I must say Bitcoin Cash probably the exception.
Firstly, according to the record, about the 51% attack, most of them come from the hash rate bought or ran by NetHash, not from a pool. Yeah, so that's one point. And the second one, as BC.com, we won't do this kind of things because we are the number one Bitcoin mining pool now, and we belong to the great company Bitman. We don't want to do anything to damage our reputation. We are running good. We are running good businesses. Yeah, that's it.
Yep, got it. Okay, cool. I think we're about the time, and so now we have like 2 minutes for Q&A. Not sure there's a mic out. So just let me, if you have any question, just raise your hand and then I can pass over to the panelists here. Yep.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you guys.